Oh, I didn't see you there. If you didn't know, I'm sponsored by Aesthetic. If you want a discount code for 10%, use code JOZEF, all caps on Fight Aesthetic Asia. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the What's in My Bag video. This was filmed, I believe, early this year, right before March. So it is a bit outdated, but I hope you guys enjoy. Whether you guys like this video or not, I am going to put out another one on my current setup, just because I think it'll be fun. And believe it or not, this is edited down by a lot, apparently. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Hey guys, it's Joseph Chen. So I'm doing this for my own fun and pleasure. So I'm gonna do a kind of like a bag breakdown of the bags that I pack for my travel. I've been traveling for the last probably 2 years now for the most part, and being away from home most of the time. Gotten really into bags and traveling and packing. So today my goal is to be able to share this with you guys. So first of all, my goal with this was to really kind of create a bag setup that wouldn't have to make me check in bags most of the time. We'll talk about later that there's sometimes some exception, but traveling fairly light, but also having, because by traveling light you kind of get the freedom of movement, but also having the freedom to move around, because as you'll see later, the stuff that I pack is fairly comprehensive. So I have a lot of things packed in here for all sorts of weather and so on. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. So this is a Bellroy Venture Sling. It's a 6 liter, like a sling pouch. This is generally, I think, good for traveling because I can have something in front of me, behind me, but then a lot of the stuff that I need quick access to is going to be in this sling, and we'll talk about what that is later. The next one is the Bellroy Transit Work Pack, and this one is 20 liters, I believe. And from here, this is obviously kind of working as an everyday backpack, but the bag I want on my back as well when traveling. And then we have a 25 liter Matador packable duffel. I don't know the exact name, but this is kind of working as like a supplement to this backpack. I didn't really want a huge bag on my back all the time, just because I find that that's heavy. So this I can carry by my hand, and having it be 25 liters, it's also fairly easy to carry. It doesn't get too heavy. And we'll talk a little bit more about the weight distribution. But the primary way that I distribute the weight amongst both of these bags is here it's going to be electronic heavy, and then this is going to be clothes heavy. So this has like 5 extra liters, and so this is where I'm going to pack up most of my clothes, training gear, jackets, etc. Whereas this is less packed, and this is going to be mostly like packed with electronics. And especially when traveling budget, you have weight limits, so trying to stay under 7 kilos with this one is my main goal. And obviously you notice that there are 3 bags here. So most airline allow for you to have 1 carry-on and 1 personal item. And so this classifies as a personal item as it can fit under the front seat, and if it's below 7 kilos, usually it's fine. This can fit in here. You'd have to reconfigure some things, but this can fit in here depending on how strict they may be. Generally, if you're not flying budget, you'll be able to carry all of these things on no problem. If they're a little bit more picky with you, you might have to kind of maneuver your way through, but worst comes to worst, I planned this in mind so that if I had to check a bag in, I check in the duffel, and I have no issues with this. I don't have to repack, and it works as a check-in as I have a lock and so on. So we'll go into more depth on this a little bit later. Okay, so I know there are many bag reviews on YouTube, but one of the main things I really like about this bag in particular in regards to Bellroy is, one, there's a lot of room for expansion, right? So you see just by carrying it, it's going to compress to some degree, as well as the zippers. So they have zippers on each side as opposed to having them together. So if you need just something quick access, it's very easy to just open one side instead of pulling the zippers off across. Material is fairly nice, very durable. I think it's fairly water resistant, zippers, and fairly good strap. Something I have on the bag in itself, so I have an S-beaner. This is just good for clipping stuff on, so whether it be like a bag, and I'll show some of that stuff later, as well as this water bottle holder that Lynn bought for me and gifted it to me. This is actually quite nice for holding water bottles, especially when just carrying the sling. We'll demonstrate that. Okay, yeah, so now you can see how this would work. So if I'm carrying this, I can unclip this, loop this around a bottle. Obviously if it's too big, it won't work. But now I can clip it back on, and now I have a water bottle holder on the outside of the sling. So especially when carrying the sling by itself, super convenient. So now let's talk about the things I pack on the inside, and we'll talk about why I have each and a little bit more detail on all of these. So we'll start from tech, and then we'll move from right to left. So from here, we'll start with the power pack. So I believe this is a 10,000 milliamp hour Anker wireless charger. So this is great for my phone, right? I have cables with me, as you guys can see, but this is just a great charging brick, just so if I'm on the go and I'm charging my phone, but I don't want to have to deal with a bunch of cables, this just slaps on right away. I have some Sony Link buds. I think these are probably my favorite earphones. I used to have AirPods, but then they stopped fitting in my ears, so I just started using these instead. They're fairly good. They have nice noise canceling, and they're pretty cheap. Next, we have 3 cables. I have one USB-C to USB-C. I have one USB-C to Lightning, and another USB-C to USB-C. And so these are all the cables that I travel with for the most part. I have some smaller cables that come with mics and so on. But in terms of what I carry in my sling, these are basically all that I need in terms of cables, because this will charge my phone, which is still on Lightning, and then once that's no longer on Lightning, I'll get rid of the Lightning cable. But USB-C, USB-C, and USB-C. So you can tell that for the most part, everything here runs on USB-C. For a while, I only had one USB-C cable, but I got a new iPad, so it came with one, so now I carry that. Next thing is I have an iPad. And so the reason why I carry an iPad is, one, I like watching tape on it, so I don't have Instagram, I don't have many distractions on the iPad, so I find that I can get work done in a fairly productive manner. And obviously it's small, so it can fit in this. I used to have like an iPad Air, but the iPad Air didn't manage to fit in the sling, and so as a result, I wasn't able to carry it around as much. And so next we have the Bellroy travel wallet, and from here, super convenient wallet. We have the passport, we have a pen, we have cards. From here it's just ID, travel cards. These are all subway cards, 2 card slots in the back, and from here we're able to fit a bunch of things, as well as we have a secret compartment if we fold out.
Why do you need a wallet when you don't even have cash?
I removed my cash so you guys could see the compartments more easily. Yeah, super nice, super convenient. I'll talk how I fit all of this into the bag in a bit. This is the one I don't use so much, so I'll keep reserves of cash in here and stuff that I don't use so frequently. This is now, I believe this is like a hide and seek, the Bellroy hide and seek, but this actually has the coin compartment, so I'm not sure exactly what this one's called. But I bought this one, like the hide and seek, actually they have 2, like they have cards on both sides. However, because I still travel a fair bit and in a lot of places they still use cash and coins, so I felt the need to have this. So let's not reveal all my credit card information. How am I going to do this? Okay. So we have 3 card slots over here. We have card pull out in the middle. So like you can see, obviously this is credit cards, debit cards. I have Pikachu, like what's it called? A yo-yo ka for Taiwan. I have bank card. And then I also have my Bandai passport, so I can Merc, Kenta, and Lin at Initial D arcade. And then, so this is just super convenient pull out. These are cards that I generally don't use too frequently. We have ID in the back, and then we have main card compartment, main cash compartment. From here we have a little like secret slot here. I use this to store an air tag just so I can keep track of my wallet. Right, just super easy, super convenient. And then lastly, the coin part. And this is nice because the coins stay flat. They don't really jiggle around. Like you can see, if I move the wallet around, it really doesn't make too much of a noise and can stay fairly low profile. Next, we have a notebook, and this notebook's mostly just to take notes. Usually it's like a more to-do list and stuff, once again, to kind of get away from my phone, just so that this is a little bit easier for me to stay focused, just because sometimes when I'm on my phone, I used to get distracted. I got this at the Singapore airport at the Moleskine booth, and they had like an option to print on your name, and this is the date I got it, fairly recently, but I like it. Came with a pen, also quite a nice pen. And then next is we have a Burt's Bees Rescue Balm chapstick. This has come in very handy for on a fair few occasions, especially in drier climates. I find that this is better than just regular chapstick. Actually, I believe I got this in New York, in Manhattan, there's a really nice shop that I'm now forgetting the name of, but yeah, I think it's near Grand Street, but yeah, any outdoor shop you should be able to get this. But let's see, hopefully it focuses. Hey, so we can see Burt's Bees. Cool. Wonderful. Next, we have some throat lozenges. So these are just great, especially when traveling, you get a sore throat, which happens a fair bit, especially if you haven't slept for a few days, or especially when traveling, this can happen, switching time zones. So I just have this as just something to soothe a sore throat. I'm not going to make any jokes about that, but super convenient, super nice. The two, actually, some of the most important things besides wallet and passport, wet wipes and tissues. This especially something I actually really hate when eating, is like if I use my hands and my hands get dirty, if I just use like a normal like dry tissue, it really annoys me because I mean there's still residue on your hands. So I always carry wet wipes and tissues, and I actually carry a mouth guard with me, so the tissues help as well as when actually trying to store the mouth guard. And then lastly, we have a packable tote bag. I got this one from Reversal in Tokyo, and actually this is once again super convenient. If I'm carrying groceries, laundry, or whatever, I'll usually store it in this because it fits right in here and it really doesn't take up much space. But then when I need it, from here, I can manage to open everything up, and now I have a fairly substantial tote bag, and it says from Reversal, Tokyo Kung Fu Boys. So I feel like it really resonates with me. So very nice. Shout out to Reversal for the cool tote bag. I paid for it though. So next we're going to be moving on to the Bellroy Transit Work Pack. So this is the 20 liter. This is what I carry in my bag, and I use this as a daily bag. So from here, I have my laptop out because it's still uploading a Patreon video. It's connected to my hard drive. This is going to be part of the loadout. So we'll skip to everything being taken out. Okay, so now this is the personal item, everyday carry backpack. Now we'll talk a bit about the loadout. So we'll start from the simplest, and then we'll get to more complex. This is a few things in here. So we have the laptop, we have the 1 terabyte hard drive. This is where I store most of my videos. I try not to keep everything on my laptop just because I think it might slow down my laptop. We have the noise canceling headphones, perfect for flights. Once again, we have the wet wipes, dry tissue. The Kleenex ones are super soft. I got these in Japan. I really like them. I'm really not looking forward to running out of them. We got some finger tape. We got the DJI microphones. One here. We got a traveling adapter. I like this one. It's actually just 1 slider. A few of them that I don't like, it's actually 3 sliders. However, the issue with this is there's only USB, there's no USB-C. So I don't actually end up using these very frequently, but we have Europe, we have UK, right? And then we have USA, Australia. And so you're able to go to most places and use this. We have another Anchor battery, 10,000 milliamp hours, just 1 USB and 1 USB-C, but this is usually more than enough. This is usually a good backup. We have same passport wallet. From here, it's just to store important documents, money, and what's it called? Yeah, important documents and money. Let's see if there's, yeah, so you guys can see I've got some receipts. From here, I have some cards. This is actually my school card. This is Maid Cafe card. This is Austin bouldering project. Got some coins, pen, USB, and then money stuff. Yeah, I might not keep that in there. You gotta wait. You could kind of. I have the HPV vaccination record, all 3 shots. We have a Matador 8 liter dry pack. I used to actually have a Sea to Summit dry pack, and that was actually one of my favorite dry packs. However, the reason I liked it was because it allowed air to come out without leaking water. But after I used it for a while, it started leaking water. So I switched to this one. This one's quite good. A little thick. I would like this kind of flap to be a little bit harder. It's a little bit too flexible, but it works quite well. I like this handle. Makes it easy to grab. This is very important for training jiu-jitsu because sweaty clothes all go in here. We have small water bottle. This fits into the side. We have a fleece jacket from Uniqlo, especially on flights, it can get quite chilly, so I like having this as an option, especially if, like, where was I before? I was in Bali to Taipei, and the flight actually got fairly cold, so I had to pull this out. So it's usually just good to have on hand something to keep yourself warm. You don't want to rely on the airline giving you a blanket, because that's not always the case. We have a very small compact umbrella. This, unfortunately, it's only a one-person umbrella, but it's made by this company. I like it a lot. It's very light, very small. You see the handle's fairly minimalist, but I've had a fair bit of use out of this. And then we have this, I believe I got this from Muji, but this packing cube. And so we'll talk a little bit about what's in this packing cube. Okay, so now in this packing cube, this is split into two sections. Main section, from here we have thermals. So this is Uniqlo Ultra Heat Tech long sleeve, green. And then once again, thermals, Ultra Heat Tech pants. So this is a lot of how I manage to actually travel in a few different climates, especially when it gets fairly cold. I don't want to be carrying huge jackets. These are a very good base layer, and it allows you to kind of really layer up to stay warm, as opposed to having one huge jacket, which is difficult to travel with. So from here, this makes it fairly easy to pack. This is a towel, because I don't actually have that many towels. Dima's girlfriend made this for me, so it has my name on it. And so that's usually what I pack here. Then now we come to the main compartment. So we have two sets of Rashguards. We usually roll them up, and then two pairs of underwear. This is by far my favorite underwear on the planet. It was recommended by Lynn. It's Airism Uniqlo. Super light, super breathable, and very small. So from here, they dry quickly. It's very convenient. So I really like these. These are the ones I only carry, but somehow I've managed to constantly lose them. So I'm always in a process of buying new underwear. However, it's still worth it. I still prefer wearing them over any other pair of underwear, to be honest. And they're just really easy to travel with.
You know, they have like a new version of
You
it.
showed me.
Yeah.
它就长一点，对吧？
No. Like the materials, they have
Oh.
like holes.
No, it's the one where you can't smell it, right? 它不会臭，对吧？
Yeah. Also feels better. It feels lighter.
Really?
And you feel like air can go through.
More air. Let's hope. All right, so now let's do a brief rundown of the bag and its compartments, and then we'll go into packing. So this is the main compartment. I like it a lot because it makes it very easy to pack, since I can open it all the way up, right? And this just makes it easy to manage everything. So we have a few compartments on the inside. We have this compartment on the outer shell. From here, I usually store electronics. Right, there's a nice zipper here. From here, we have like a little bit of a mesh. This is usually where I store my passport wallet, just because it's secure. It's a really nice feature that I like, that a lot of people talk about, is that there's like this little slit for air tags inside the Bellroy, most of their bags. So you can just place an air tag in there, and you're able to track this. Next, we have a section that I don't really use too much, this outermost layer. I mean, this is good for fitting pens, little notebooks, and little papers, like so. And I believe there is also a key leash. Actually, not in this one, it's only in the bigger one. And then, one of the main reasons I really like this backpack is because the laptop compartment and the main compartment are separate. And I find that this is really important for me when going through security. I don't want to have to rummage through all of my main compartment to pull out my electronics and laptop. So from here you can see that we have this main laptop compartment as well as a separate divider, and this is where I place my headphones. Something I really like about this is that actually it does provide a fair bit of protection to your laptop. The reason being is there's actually like the bottom of this. So if we open this up, the bottom of this actually stops before it hits the floor. So let's say you have a laptop in here and you don't have a case on it, but you drop it flat on the floor, it's actually, your laptop's not going to hit the floor. I think this is something that's actually quite neat. We also have this top quick access pocket mesh. I usually put the tissues and my tape in there just because it's easily accessible. Then we have two side pockets. Downside of these, it kind of eats into the internal space of the bag. However, this is nice because it keeps the outside fairly streamlined. We have one on each side, and yeah, fairly easy, fairly simple. There is like a kind of key leash system on this one. I don't like this one as much as the one on the sling. However, it does work. Yeah, so we'll get into packing. The one thing I'll talk about, like the other bags that I also have considered using and have used in the past. One of the things I don't like about the work pack is the back harness system isn't as nice as the 28-liter version of the transit backpack. We'll talk about that later, but generally I've had no issues just because it doesn't really get too heavy because it's only 20 liters. I think the heaviest I've ever had this at is just shy of 10 kilos. So pretty easy, pretty convenient, very nice. I think one of the things that I really like about this bag that really made me want to buy this was actually the fabric on the outside, which is this kind of, I really don't know how to describe it, and I don't know the technical term, as well as the internal layout with the coloring. Like I like the brown with the tan with the white and the gray. Just thought it was pretty nice. And so now, yeah, we'll get into how do I actually pack this out and how does this all fit together. So we'll start with the main compartment. I put this as the base. We go down here. Next, what we're going to be looking to put is the dry pack towards the side of this packing cube. And then we have this fleece occupying the center space. You can kind of just roll it up and it fits fairly nicely. We also have this compartment on the top. Usually I would put my hard drive, but once again, I'm uploading a video. But from here, it's usually going to be putting this, the microphone, power bank, and power adapter in here. And that's, I think, for all of our main compartment. So you can see it's fairly easy. Not super packed out, but you filled up the space. Now we have the top compartment. From here, what I'm going to put in is the Kleenex, wet wipes, and the tape, just so it's very accessible. In the laptop compartment, obviously we have the laptop one side. If you pack it out a lot, it becomes very difficult to put it in. However, at this stage, it's actually pretty easy. We put the headphones in this tech compartment, so sometimes if it's like super packed out, you might have to shove it in there a little bit. But generally, it's fairly easy. I like to compress the fleece, and from here, you just lift it up and slide it in, and it becomes fairly easy to close that, along with the laptop on the inside. Then we have each of these side compartments. From here, I put the umbrella to the one on my left. So here. So now when I need it, it's easy to take out. And I put the water bottle on the right. So it's actually quite a deceiving pocket because it doesn't look like it'll fit, but it manages to fit fairly nicely. And then obviously I'm missing the laptop. I didn't pop this in, but you can kind of see how I'd normally pack this out and wear it. So pretty light, pretty convenient. If we take into account the laptop, it's going to be a bit heavier, but yeah, we have also an S-spinner here, and I just use this to carry stuff as well. Sometimes this will be on the sling, sometimes this will be on this backpack. But all right, so we'll get started talking about what's in the duffel. So we'll start with this packing cube, and this is the Rashguard. So this is probably the easiest. So on the previous pack, our work pack, we actually had 2 sets. In here, I believe we should have 4. No, we actually have 3. So totaling out to 5. So if you train like 3 sessions a day, you'll have to average laundry every 1.5 days, which is something. If you're training 3 sessions a day, I assume you have good access to washing machines, or at least that's generally the case when I do. And then I bring like 4 pairs of spats, just because I almost always wear spats when I train, just because especially like the risk of cuts, the risk of infection, all these type of things, I prefer wearing spats. So this is easy, just roll them up. So it fits easily, and then from here I put the spats under over the top. So we'll move across. From here we have a microfiber towel. This is something that I like quite a bit. This is also from Matador. It has like kind of these holes to make it a little bit breathable, but I found it doesn't really make it dry. But it's cool because you can clip it to the outside, so once you've used it, it doesn't have to make everything else in your bag wet. Next we have this carabiner. This is something actually my friend Matthew recommended to me maybe a few years ago at this point. It actually works very well as a means to kind of hold a bag off of the ground. Obviously you can clip stuff to it, so I'll actually demonstrate this. Where, let's say I'm using this backpack, and let's say I'm somewhere where I don't want, like let's say I'm in a bathroom stall, whatever, and there's only one clip. Let's say, I mean, you can't clip it directly, so you can unfold this out, and from here you're able to now clip it onto the table or any platform, and it'll balance itself. And I find that this is fairly useful. It's not like I use it every day, but in the cases and situations in which I do use it, it's very helpful. Moving across, we have another passport wallet. This is just another place to keep valuables. I like to kind of distribute my stuff between 2 bags just in case if I lose one, I'm not going to lose everything. So this is by PackSafe. I generally like these because I find that, what's it called? I have different compartments for like if I want to put coins. So this is where I usually would put coins. And then let's open this up. We have a place for a passport. And then just many compartments. Here you can see actually my metro card from Nanjing that I just keep with me. Yeah, just super easy, fairly functional. Here we have some moisturizer. This I actually use mostly for my tattoos, or when it gets super dry, I'll use this, especially if you get cracks in the skin. You don't want it to get infected when you're training, so this I use sometimes. Next we'll move on to the toiletries, and so this is like a fair bit. So this is actually the smaller toiletry bag by Peak Design, so you can see it's a bit of a mess in here, so quite hectic, but actually I'll do like a brief rundown of what I have. Nail clippers from Japan, nail filer from Japan. These are very nice. We have floss. Floss is one of my favorite things in the world. We have nasal spray. I actually got I haven't used this for years actually, but I got this from my friend Emil when I had COVID, and it saved me a lot of pain. Then we move across here. We have some Voltaren for injuries. Neosporin for cuts. We have more moisturizer, so papaya cream. We also have antifungal cream. We also have moisturizer for Panthem for tattoos. A lot of cold medicine, especially when traveling. I find that my immune system can be compromised. To be honest, I have no clue where this is from. This is probably when I got an ear infection. Probably something related to that, but I keep it anyways just in case I ever need it. We have some Med Lemon. We have a toothbrush compartment in here. Usually keep my toothbrush here. I usually let it dry out. Sometimes I'll just leave it out like this, and then it'll dry out, and then eventually I'll put it back in when I travel. Yep, this is some probiotics from Indonesia that I got on my most recent trip to Bali because I have stomach issues, so they gave me probiotics, so I have these still. Now we move down. We have my toothpaste. Matador like refillable toothpaste. This is travel size. That's why I like it, so I can put whatever toothpaste I like, put it in this, and it works perfectly.
You fill it from the bottom or the?
Here, so this folds out, so you'll see that. I won't pull it out now because it'll be a hassle to put back on, but it takes a fair bit of effort, but you can push it out and then fill it up. It says 2 weeks, 2-week capacity, but like with most pieces of toothpaste, I find it, especially towards the end, it lasts a fair bit. Then we have some antibiotic cream from Thailand that is due for probably need to get some more of this when I go to Phuket soon. These are laxatives. Like sometimes when I'm cutting weight and I'm dieting very hard, sometimes I might need this. I don't need to explain further. We have some more antifungal cream. This my father gave me. I've had this for a while, it actually works quite well. Some more antifungal cream. Just because in jiu-jitsu, you shower so many times a day, there's like a higher probability of getting fungus. More Med Lemon.
What is Med Lemon?
Med Lemon is a cold medicine. Oh. So it's for hot medication with vitamin C. So it's kind of just if I have a cold or anything like this. More Japanese cold medicine. I've actually had a cold quite a few times. It's actually very unpleasant. We have some very good band-aids that I really like. Op-site post-op. These are great for staph infection. Does a good job really staying on. Stop it from leaking and becoming very gross and possibly getting worse. We have some Imodium, again for stomach issues. This is something I get a lot. I used to have a lot of stomach issues actually. They've gotten better as of late, but still good to have on hand. And then we also have, this is, I believe, an Advil that has been in for too long and now gone off, but I'll still keep it in there because I've needed it. Then we have the secret stash of antibiotics, and let's see what I have here. I mean, this is all Thailand because you can get antibiotics without prescriptions, which is a huge help. So cephalotic, okay, this is cephalaxin. I usually just research which one is more appropriate. I believe this is amoxicillin, and these are all a whole course of it, so I try to keep these stocked up just in case. I don't like traveling, like especially I've had staff in the US and I've had to go to a doctor and it cost me $300 for everything, so I try to make sure I have stuff on hand. So I'm not telling everyone to self-diagnose all the time, like maybe get a doctor friend, ask them, but if you can keep stuff on hand, it's definitely helpful. And then we have doxycycline. So yeah, I mean, a fairly comprehensive setup of antibiotics, especially when traveling. I find that I really get staph the most when I'm very sleep deprived. So especially if you travel much, this is something that you, I think, definitely need on hand. If you have accessibility, like it's accessible to you. Sometimes people have experience with it, you know, and sometimes you're also biased. There's been a few times where it's like, I'm like, I really want to not believe it's staph, and I want to make sure that, okay, I want to still train. So I try to tell other people as soon as I can. I'm like, okay, I have staph, so they kind of force me not to train, you know. So next we move on to this small packing cube. So this one's also from Muji. So this is a bit of a mix and mash of a few different things. So this is more of an auxiliary to the stuff we had in the work pack. So the work pack was a fairly limited range of things that we had. Obviously it's some underwear, some clothes, but this is most of it, or like the kind of this auxiliary stash. More Aerism underwear with my dog that I got from my girlfriend. More Aerism underwear. We have a linen shirt, a button-up shirt that I got from Uniqlo in Japan, just because I wanted a button-up shirt. We got long pants. This is probably my favorite set of long pants. Also got this from Uniqlo. If you can't tell, I really like Uniqlo. These are very comfortable, very versatile. And I try to keep it so that most of the clothes in my wardrobe, since they're fairly limited, match fairly well. So that keeps in kind of a similar color palette. It's like a similar idea to that of a capsule wardrobe. Here's another shirt that I carry. So this is Marcelo Garcia. It's quite a cool shirt, to be honest. Very comfortable. And I'll usually carry, this is a shirt that I really like, but my friend also Matthew gave me, but I've worn it almost too much that it started to rip. But I love this shirt. This is merino wool. I believe this is cotton, but very good materials, very easy to carry, very light. I probably need to get a few more merino wool shirts. However, I think I'm missing one. I'm supposed to have a dark green one somewhere, but it has slipped my mind where it is.
How do you survive being on the road so long with basically one outfit?
I mean, I try to be careful not to dirty anything, obviously, because I shower fairly frequently. I find that I don't have to do as much washing. But, for example, like, I understand that the stuff we've packed now, it's only long sleeve and t-shirt. So, and usually if that's the case, what I'm wearing will be this pair of shorts and my shirt. It'll switch around if I'm in a more cold climate. So when I was in Europe, I wore the long pants and the long shirt and then had this inside. And so I usually switch out between the two. And then when I do the wash, I have like, so for pants, I only have one pair of shorts and one pair of long pants. And in that situation, I basically just wear the other. It's not too unbearable to wear one or the other. And you could think, in a cold environment, are those pants enough? But that's why I have the thermal leggings. And so this kind of makes up for it. So next, and you'll notice I really don't carry any socks with me. It's because of the shoes I have, which I'll actually talk about in the last part. But Yeah. Interesting.
Also must save you like thinking to like what do I wear basically.
Yeah, I remember, what's it called? Didn't Zuck say or something like this, where they're like, he wears the same thing every day to make it so that he doesn't have decision fatigue?
Yeah.
Because if you think about what you wear every day, I mean, I'm doing it out of like necessity, but it's also nice because then you kind of resign yourself to like something that you like. It does get boring at some times though, but then it becomes like, you know, sometimes you want to wear different shirts, but it's not really important. So I find that it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. So next we have another packing cube, which is meant for only one thing, which is my jacket. So I believe Rohit, the person filming this right now, also has the same jacket in a green, right? And this was actually such a fun, there's a fun story behind this jacket. We got this when I was in Japan, preparing for Polaris. So I believe this is the Uniqlo hybrid parka. So this is, what's this type of called? It's puffy. It's like a puffy jacket. What is it called? Yurongfu. What's it in English?
Down, right?
A down jacket. Yes, it's like a down jacket, but it's also got a few different like kind of raincoat elements where it's like somewhat water resistant. So it's quite nice. And so I find that this layers very well on top of the fleece as well as the thermal. So I really like this jacket. I think they're no longer in production, or it's not in season. So when I was looking for this, because I'd researched this before and I was like, I'll wait till I'm in Japan to buy this because I would think they're abundant there, but they weren't. And I need to find a size L. And we were living in Ikebukuro, and I went there. They only had size M in this same color. Every other color was sold out. And so I found a Uniqlo there that had it in stock. But this was towards the end of the trip. I didn't really have time to go around and get it. Lynn went there, spent 20 minutes looking for it with the staff. The staff have like a tracker to kind of track where it is. And they're like, it should be here, it should be here. And it was like behind a whole bunch of clothes. And he eventually found it. And so Lynn's fairly goated for this.
And it was on sale.
It was on sale. It was much cheaper. It was like went from 14,000 yen to like 7,900 yen. I also have this hat. I got this from buying a sweater from this brand called Getchu. Geccu. So it came with the thingy. So when my ears get cold, which is something that I've found happens more frequently nowadays, I never really felt the need to have a hat before, but now I do. So this generally goes with this pocket because it accompanies this jacket. I don't really need it if it's not cold enough to elicit this jacket. So that's in terms of clothing. I'll pack this away. I like this jacket a lot actually because lots of pockets out here, pockets inside, outside, just super convenient, super nice. And it also functions really well as a windbreaker. So overall, very functional jacket. And I mean, it has like some breathability here.
My girlfriend uses it as a pillow on airplanes.
The jacket,
Yeah,
I think that's smart.
It's a good pillow.
I use the fleece as a jacket sometimes, or my sling. And I think just because sometimes, especially if you're on a window seat and you need something to kind of fill the crease of your neck, head, in the window. In a car, I've actually done that a lot as well. But I guess like a down jacket's very good for this. All right, just because it's fluffy. I used to actually have the ultralight down jacket, but I found that was a little bit, I mean, it's better in terms of space. However, it is, what's it called, not as cold and not as water resistant. Like down, like once it gets wet is not great, but because the materials this is made out of is fairly water resistant, it's okay. And one of the reason I really like down jackets is just because it's very very easy in terms of warmth to weight ratio. Very good, so great to travel with. And then finally, we'll move this here. We have the duffle. So this is a Matador packable duffle. And so the idea with this was that I had the optionality to maybe even put it away if I needed. If I got to a point where I was traveling and I didn't really need the the duffel to be out of here, then I could just pack it away. So you can see the Matador really specializes in packable bags. So you see how this will kind of stuff into itself. And it's 25 liters, which is fairly substantial. So from here, very simple layout, one main compartment, and then some flexible mesh compartments on the side where you have a bit more flexibility with what you put in. One thing that I don't like, that's not ideal, because usually with duffels, I don't swing them over my shoulder. I like to carry them by hand, is that you can't really put the strap away, but it's honestly not too big of a deal. I can usually just carry in my hand. And from here, with the whole load out, it becomes fairly easy for me to carry everything at once. But yeah, so I mean, that's the last part. And now I'll show you guys how I pack it. So we'll bring the stuff back. So generally I put the jacket as the base layer. So this will go underneath everything. So we'll put this in first. Then what I'm going to look to do is I'm going to put this small packing cube towards the side, slightly slanted upwards. From here, I'm going to put this toiletry bag towards the side. I'm going to almost like pop this over a little bit. And then now the toiletry bag fits fairly well, especially because this is down, it can compress a fair bit. And then we put all the Rashguards on top, right? And I usually like to do this first and then I put the other stuff in. So from here, I'll usually push it down, squeeze it a little bit, and then from here, we're able to actually get things closed. So from here, we push them down, and then from here, it is a tight squeeze sometimes. It is easier when, let's say, for example, we're wearing winter clothes, because then it's super easy, but just gotta do what you gotta do. And we start looking to put the towel, and then we have the moisturizer. And then this usually depends how necessary it is. I can either slide it in on the outside or I'll put it deeper in the bag if I don't feel like it's necessary at all for the time that I'm there. And then the great thing about this is if I'm flying like a budget airline and they're really persistent about not letting me have one personal item and one carry-on, I can have the option to check this in because everything in here is fairly like manageable to check in. The only thing I would remove is usually the passport wallet. Everything else I just send over to check in. And since I have Rashguards in my other bag, I'm not going to be in a bad spot if this bag does get lost. Because it has happened to me a few times before. I think the last time it happened to me is when I was in Austin. They left my bags in San Francisco. And then I was basically left there. I had to stay until like 2-3 a.m. when I landed at 10 p.m. So it wasn't ideal, not great for sleep, not great for like stress. So yeah, so that's the thought process behind it. I mean, that's all of the bags for now. Maybe I'll go over some of the other bags that I've used and that I've considered and might be better for your own use case. But yeah, so this is the current setup for perpetual travel. Hey guys, thank you for watching the vlog. If you're interested in my other teaching materials, please check out my Patreon. I show some technique there as well as competition breakdowns.